For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, WFO Radio is back. I'm Joe Castello, and we're going to talk NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing following the PlayNHRA Virginia Nationals and leading into the Summit Racing Equipment NHRA Nationals out there at Summit Motorsports Park, the House of Bader. A great race, so many big stories coming in and heading to Norwalk, and we're going to cover them all. Obviously, on this show, we're going to hear from Aaron Stanfield, as promoted, the Pro Stock winner in the Mission Foods Drag Racing Series. But a lot to talk about. John Force's horrific and nightmarish crash on the top end of the racetrack at Virginia is probably all that anybody really wants to talk about. But it is unfortunate, but is the case that there's not a lot of news. John Force Racing has put out a story. It's up on the front page of NHRA.com. I will read that update to you in a moment or two, just so everybody who is listening to the show and checking out the show can have the most current information as we know it right now. I was on the starting line for it. It was obviously very terrible. We did see some footage of John on a gurney sitting up. That has been put out there by many people in the media and the internet, of course. A lot of speculation. Very unfortunate that so many people would start to speculate when they do not have the knowledge. But this is one of those moments where maybe it is therapeutic for people to talk about a topic, but not necessarily good, because a lot of information that isn't true and certainly not factual gets pushed out there. But it happens as part of our culture now, and we have to just kind of accept it. Very difficult situation. Going to get into all of that on the show, but I want to start off with something that frankly has just happened also. Got word yesterday, and this person is a great and personal friend of me and my show, and it has been pushed out by the folks at Competition Plus through the family, that our great friend Roger Richards, one of the best photographers in the NHRA, a great friend of WFO Radio, and also a great personal friend, passed away yesterday as well. And so it is a very, tough and emotional couple of days. Roger, I saw him in Bristol. He wasn't looking well. We knew he was battling some issues that are, obviously personal to him and his family, but I miss the guy so much already. He was a great person and worked with Competition Plus for over 25 years. And, I love the guy, and I miss him right now so badly. And I can think of the last time I saw him, and I didn't, I wanted to talk to him, and I thought to myself, I want to talk to him, but I was dealing with an issue at the moment, a work-related challenge, something in my moment that I couldn't go talk to him in that moment. I remember this so vividly, and it's kind of all tying everything together, and I want everybody to think about this. What was the issue that I was dealing with in the moment? I can't even remember right now. But whatever it was in that moment, because it was, job-based, career-based, work-based, in that second, it was more important than going and saying hi to my buddy Roger. He looked at me, and we looked at each other, and our eyes locked. And, he knew what I thought. And I'm handling this, but hey, man, how are you? Good to see you. And he gave me that back. And fortunately, I believe in that level of communication. But now, he's gone. He's moved on. And so what does that tell us all? Like, what should we all be thinking about in any moment of the day? Hopefully you all, try to prioritize, as I will try to prioritize in the future, what matters greatly. And it's your personal and your human relationships and connections. And, while we're all thinking about John Force, like, hey, this is information that I don't know is true, and I'm definitely not certain it's true. Should I share it? Should I push it out there? Should I make it public? Should I feed this to people who are unaware of whether or not it's true or is false? Like these are things, they're all connected. But anyway, tough time right now for the fans and friends and family that is drag racing. John Force, here is the update as sent out by John Force Racing. I'll read it verbatim off NHRA.com, but I suggest you go there as well. And read it and take it in yourself. 16-time world champion John Force remained in the intensive care unit, and I will give you this. This was pushed out yesterday late in the afternoon, early evening. This is the latest. 16-time world champion John Force remained in the intensive care unit at Virginia Hospital on Monday following a catastrophic engine failure that sent his funny car slamming into a concrete guardrail at a guard wall at 302 miles per hour during the first round of Sunday's PlayNHRA Virginia Nationals at Virginia Motorsports Park. After NHRA Safety Safari personnel extricated and stabilized the 16-time champion, he was transported by medical helicopter to a trauma hospital where he still was being observed and evaluated on Monday. Attending doctors purposely were moving slowly in assessing the extent of the injuries to the Hall of Fame owner and driver because of the intensity of the impact. Medical staff will not provide a treatment and recovery timetable until a total evaluation is completed. Force's daughter, Brittany, a two-time world champion, was joined at the hospital by her mother, Lori, and her sisters, Adra, Ashley, and Courtney. Family will maintain a presence while the team competes this weekend in Norwalk, Ohio. Updates on the 157-time tour winner's condition will be released at the discretion of the medical staff. Period. End of story. That's that. And so it's difficult to not know, and it's difficult to have patience, and it's difficult to wait when you want. But this is one of those moments where the respectful thing and the human thing is to do just that. And so that's what we're going to do. As far as speculating about what happened, we talked a little bit about this on our Ignition podcast last night. And, Michael Heiner, who is one of our Patreons that listens to the show and is a very knowledgeable drag racing person and personality as a crew chief in the sport. He says this is when, you have to rely on the very smart people who do this kind of analysis to go through a process. And I invite you to go listen to that conversation because it's important. There's a process. Everybody wants everything immediately in our modern culture. And there are so many that are willing to serve up something. But there is a process and a procedure that the National Hot Rod Association and all the very smart people who work in their technical department and work with these vehicles have to go through to study and understand. So there were some people already in our chat section. And of course, I wish you, your well wishes for John. A lot of questions about various elements, and there are not going to be answers, and there's definitely not going to be speculation on the show. There's not. We're going to talk to Aaron Stanfield. We're going to focus on the race winners. We're going to preview some amazing stories, some things that are happening in Norwalk, but we're definitely not going to speculate as to, what happened and why it happened, because any speculation in this arena is counterproductive. Because we don't have data, we don't have information. We know what we saw. And that is, irrefutable. We saw an engine explosion that badly damaged the car. We saw Force drive the wheels off of it to keep it off the center line and then off the right side wall. But the rest you saw. And that's that. So we're going to wait. and I'm happy to wait. And that's what we're going to miss out on, some clicks, and we're going to miss out on some views. And, hopefully people come to WFO for that reason, for factual information. No Alan Reinhart today. It is unfortunate. Alan Reinhart will not be joining us. Alan Reinhart was scheduled to join, but his flight got rescheduled, and he is boarded right now, and he's probably waiting for his flight to take off at this moment. And, we'll catch up with Alan next week and all of that. Aaron Stanfield is going to join us momentarily. We'll start off with Pro Stock. We're going to talk Top Fuel. We'll definitely look at some of your comments. I see you guys in the chat section. Definitely the Roger thing may be a little bit shocking for some people. It's, brand new news. Terrible, Nikki. One of the nicest guys. Thank you, Nicole. 100%. Roger Richards. 100%, like as good as it gets. As good as it gets. Great guy, positive human being, and no longer with us. We're not going to see him at the track anymore, which is so sad. And for those of you, like, he was an artist. Like, the guy had such an eye for photography. Had Roger on the show many years ago when we were audio only. Was a wedding photographer who loved to shoot, and he went to a drag race and he fell in love and said, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And he did it because of Bobby Bennett and Competition Plus. They brought him on 25 years ago, and those two were in many ways partners in crime. And I know Bobby must be just devastated, and it's terrible stuff. But we're going to do what we always do here on WFO. If you're new to the show, if you're finding the show, we what would our friends want? What would our friends want? I'm pretty confident that Roger would want us to talk drag racing just like we do each Tuesday at this time slot. And John Force, who, you could see how strong he was when he pulled himself up on that gurney, and like getting all John. Austin Prock had the line of the day when he said he's the toughest SOB in drag racing, maybe the world. But we're gonna analyze the race. We're gonna have a good time doing it, and we're gonna move forward because the tour moves on to Norwalk just days from now. Aaron Stanfield is down there in the chat section. He's down there in the ready room getting ready to come on the show. Fox Sports 1, Brian Loans, Tony Pedregon, Amanda Busick brought you the call. Let's watch the final round Pro Stock as was seen by everybody out there watching on NHRA on Fox.
The Pep Boys drone shows us the starting line. Glenn appears to have a much better move early. You watched him begin to drive away. The 007 reaction time isn't going to hurt things. And at the finish line, it is Aaron Stanfield. 661.4 beats a 661.7. Stanfield wins the drag race by a very slim margin. And that one goes to Elite Motorsport.
Brian, just prior to this interview, we pulled Aaron Stanfield aside. His baby girl was holding the Wally that is in his hand. I can't imagine there is a better feeling than seeing that. After 2 runner-up finishes, you're now holding the Wally. How will this further kickstart your season?
These things are hard to win right here, but I got my wife and my baby girl here with me this weekend, and it's pretty special to see. She can see why Daddy's gone all the time, so it's very special. But I was blessed with a wonderful opportunity to represent JHG this year, and thank you to Jason and Nikki Johnson. We're going to have another Wally coming back to Nashville, and thank you to Melling. Thank you to Joe Janik, all the guys at Elite Motorsports. These guys worked their tail off on this hot rod today. It was hot, it was wet, and man, it's special. It's hard to put into words, and all I can say is these things are hard to win, so enjoy them while they're here. And Travis, we finally got that first win.
Travis is not a jinx, and he joins us now. Aaron Stanfield. Good morning, Aaron. How are you?
Good morning. Hi, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Now, thrilled to have you on the show. Kind of a tough one. We're dealing with some questionable news and some bad news with Roger, but that Wally is well earned, and I'm real happy that you're joining me on the show today. Something that I picked up, though, Little Oakley was running around all weekend. We had a great time with Little Oakley, and that's amazing that you got to do that. But you said a few times, like, now she can see that Daddy's going off to something. And has that been tough? I'm sure.
It's definitely. It's the hardest parts, leaving your wife, leaving your kids to go do it. And the main way I look at it is I want to show them no matter what, you got to chase your dreams and you got to go after what you want to do. And I think I've got the best people in the world to push me to go do it. And my wife's she's tough and she stays at home and takes care of our kids while I go out and race. And I'm just super, super lucky to be able to have that opportunity.
Yeah. And I like you saying that, like that, it humanizes you, like this race car driver machine kid who goes out and wins showdown championships and is tuning and is happy and ambitious. And then it's like, you see you with Oakley there and Joe Lee. It's like, man, this kid is dealing with a lot just on the racing side. And we don't even, I don't want to say we don't think about it, but it's not front page, all the things you have to deal with at home. You got to be a dad. You got to be there. And that's got to be challenging. It's good that you've got a lot of energy.
It is challenging. And sometimes I wish I might have a little more energy, but I mean, it's not just me. I mean, the whole entire, everybody that races races, there are sacrifices that you have to make to be able to do it. And, some of us are fortunate enough to be able to have our kids or have our family come to the races. May not be every time, but, when you can share a day like that with your wife and your daughter, I mean, that's perfect. I mean, I've actually won in, some sportsman divisional races with her there. And, she's kind of my good luck charm. So I felt a little bit of pressure. It's been a little while since she's been able to come to a race. So I felt the pressure. I really wanted to win with her there.
Well, you did, and pretty amazing. Let's talk about you round by round, but I do want to let you know because the chat section obviously is all blowing up. Derek says, congratulations. Double Aaron, I feel like has stuck. That was me. You're all right with that. It's a good one.
Yep, that's a good one. I'll take it.
Double Aaron, man. Aaron, double A. Like, we're just having a little fun with your name. Terry Sutton out there. He'll be helping out Larry Morgan this weekend. Says, congratulations. Can't wait to get to Norwalk. Blake saying congratulations. Rick, who works on Lex June's team, says congratulations. Matt says congratulations. Everyone's fired up. You know what everybody likes most about you? I mean, not your personality, but your race team, your car. Your car gets so much love from like industry insiders. The flat black with the JHG logos, it just has a fierce kind of look to it. And now you're in the winner's circle, first time of the season, getting a little extra love. I think that's going to bring a little more attention also.
It is. It's it's been, we've been close a couple times this year. And like I said, I'm super thankful that to have the opportunity to represent JHG this year and Jason, Nikki Johnson, they've given me a wonderful opportunity. And I want to represent them well. And I know we're in some of the best equipment out there. And I know I'm more than capable of doing the job. So I was really ready to get that first win, flying their colors. So I'm glad we finally got that monkey off our back, and hopefully we can get to business.
Well, exactly. And we'll get into that. Let's talk about you round by round. I want to show you my view of the final. People have reached out to me. I started doing Joe's Eye View, and several people were like, hey, man, you got to do more of that. That's actually really good. It's a new perspective. So we'll do it. And you'll watch along. Round one against Val Smeelan, Euro 41. You get down the track, you take the win light, setting up a battle in round two against Troy Jr., who has been tough. He's already got a win this year. It was hot, like really hot, uncomfortable hot, slick and challenging, and the starting line and all of those things. Take us through that round to set up the semifinal round against Greg Anderson, because what a challenge just to be, just to exist, just to stand on 2 feet for these couple days and the 3 qualifying sessions on Saturday. What was it like launching the race car and feeling it off the starting line in such tricky and hot and difficult conditions?
So, I mean, for sure, just those conditions alone, NHRA did a great job of giving us the best track they could provide us with, given the conditions. But TJ and I were both pretty equally matched cars the round prior, and we were first pair out. So first pair out's always a little tricky. And I could tell. I mean, my car was right there on the edge of shaking the tires, and you can feel it. You're just sitting there saying, "Come on, just get through it," and it did. And I feel like we didn't make a bad run there. It's just it's a crew chief's nightmare when it's like that. And they made all the right decisions there, and it's definitely it makes things more difficult when it's that hot. And I don't want to be the whiny baby, but when you get all strapped in, you get the helmet on and everything. I mean, there's sweat rolling off of you, of course, and good thing we're not in there for a super long period of time. I might have to get a little fan in there, but it was definitely the heat makes it challenging, makes it a little bit more difficult to focus and get your oxygen in and all that good stuff.
Yeah, beads of sweat rolling down your head into your eyes, the just wrong time, a challenge. Okay, so the battle against Greg Anderson. Greg had been so strong. He got through Erica twice on the weekend with the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge and eliminations, and has been so fast. And of course, we all know the rivalry. You're not like one of those, like a firebrand when it comes to that stuff. You and Dallas, who ran each other in the final, are probably the most quiet amongst your team members, but you do a great job on the starting line. But 003, that was a much needed, great reaction time. You won on a whole shot, identical ETs, and that had been something that had kind of been evading you over the past, you tell me, right? Like the ability to go up there and crush it. Early in your career, you were doing it, and then you were kind of mired in the 40s for a while, and now it seems you've gotten it back. Can you illuminate us a little bit on that? And back-to-back 00 lights wins the race.
Yes, definitely. So to start with, that I think that rain really played in that delay really played in our team's favor. It just was pretty dang cool to see all the crew chiefs, all the engine guys kind of take a step back and kind of study some data and come up with a dart. And we threw that dart right there and it stuck. So it was really cool. That was 100% team effort, and it felt really good for me to rise up to the occasion and do my job. That's something I've talked about in the past. I mean, I show glimpses of it every once in a while, but sometimes it's hard to bring it out of me every single time I need to do it. And, of course, other drivers probably say the same thing, but I feel like I drove exactly how I am supposed to drive in that situation. And I wish I could figure out how to do it every single time I need to do it.
Yeah, and the final round, it's getting dark. It's just, we experienced a little of everything in this race. And you got to go up against Dallas. You're 00. He's 61.7. You're 61.4. You're low of the race in that final round, of course, due to the weather conditions. Just talk a little bit about the preparation and maybe expand on the, in the media center, Courtney Enders asked you this question, and it was a good question in that the way Elite Motorsports handles situations like this, and that there are no walls. There are no walls between the teams, and again, everybody is collaborating to try to figure out how to win this race. I found that to be interesting. Lead us up to the final.
So like I said, in the semis, that's where we kind of made I would say, a significant change, and it's something that was, kind of maybe not figured out, but like I said, maybe this is why. And that was applied to my car and Bo's car. And I feel like we both had a significant, increase in our performance there. And, going up into that final round after running, having lane choice, I felt really confident in my race car. And I felt good as far as driving, but Dallas he's whooped up on me the past couple times of racing, man. He's a heck of a competitor, and I respect him. He works hard. He works very hard to be in the position he's in. And it's always, when we put both of us, we're very friendly to each other. We're not ones to talk trash, but when we put the helmets on against each other, we're very competitive people. So it was cool of course, it's great to get the one light right there. And again, just do what I think I should be doing in that scenario, and to have the race car to back it up. So just a perfect weekend.
Yeah. All right. So let's watch the Joe's view of your win, and then I got a couple other questions. There's some people in the audience. I got some questions as well. If I can lower the volume on this, I figured that out last week. So if there's anything to note, just tell me to pause, and I'll pause it as we relive the moment from the starting line, Aaron Stanfield's win in the PlayNHRA Virginia Nationals. And there you have it.
Definitely. Go ahead.
Well, that's just, I'm so lucky to get to see that, right? And I got to share it with people.
There's nothing like it. And I agree with you. That's a great point of view there. And if you just watch that video, I mean, it's very hard to come across that big of a group of people that are, that passionate about being successful and all pulling in the same direction. Not necessarily do every one of those guys work on my car every single run, but they all play a piece in it. And again, it's just it drives me to want to. I'm obviously a very motivated person, but it puts a little extra fire under my butt when I've got that many people behind me wanting to be successful as well. So it motivates me to try to be on my best game. And it was really cool. I mean, Casey, Chad, Travis, Jake, Mark, Tim Freeman, Kyle, they're all, it's just awesome. And Travis, that was his first win, crewing on a pro stock car. And he's thought that, he's been close a few times, and he's like, man, I think I might be cursed. And it's just, it's very inspiring when you come across people that are that passionate about what they're doing.
I love it.
And it matches my interest. It matches me as well. And it's awesome to be a part of.
Travis, right? Like you shouted out to him a couple of times. You don't want anybody thinking they're bad luck. You're not bad luck, Travis. Look.
No bad luck.
All right. So got a couple people out there in the chat. Like, all right, so Elite Motorsports with a big share. Very proud of you, Double A. Look at that Team Elite on the starting line. Yeah, that's the moment that everyone needs to fully understand. The exuberance of victory or the kick in the gut that is defeat. And someone is feeling it every run. But in the final round, it's just amazing to watch. Craig Gaultier, Craig.
Oh, yeah.
Double up at Norwalk, Double A, Stanfield and FX and FSS, of course, Pro Stock. Wish I could be there. Where's Craig? Why isn't he going to be there? What's up with that, Craig? Number one. And number two, yeah, you'll be doing double duty this weekend, Pro Stock and Factory X.
Yeah, we've got Craig's car in the shop here. We got to do a little work to it and get it ready for the next one.
Oh, all right. So there's your excuse, Craig.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. He was just pressuring you.
We got to get Code Red. We got to get Code Red ready for the next one.
Got it. All right, but a chance to double up. Let's look ahead to Norwalk. You don't get to, cherish this victory for a long period of time, but that's good. We're going back racing. House of Bader Summit Racing Equipment NHRA Nationals, one of the crown jewel events, a huge one. Everybody goes there. You can just tell the fields. Got new racers. Corey Reed going to be in there in the field for KB Titan. Interesting stuff going on out there. What's your plan to go back to back?
So we're doing a little double duty this coming up weekend, and I like it. I mean, we won Virginia, and we celebrated, and that's past us, and it's on to the next one. So we're going to take that same approach we've taken towards the end of that race and roll it on to the end of this next race. And I've been I was able to pull off the double up with my first pro stock win in factory stock. And that's I've learned that's very hard to do, because I've been close a couple more times after that. And man, it would be cool to be able to pull that off again. And of course, whenever I roll into the racetrack, I mean, I plan on winning, and I'm in the best equipment with the best people. So I expect nothing less. And that's what we're going for.
Interesting. No, it's exciting. We're going racing again. Kyle Koretsky going to be in Factory X this weekend, kind of a one-off as I understand it. Maybe there's more to come, but it's Factory X appears to be taking off. 1 year ago, it was this race 1 year ago, right? Or was it 2 years ago that your dad's car debuted? 1 year ago. That's my dad's car debuted here or in Norwalk. So it'll be cool it's going to be fun. The class is starting to grow a little bit as some cars get built and people get their programs going. And of course, it's always, it's with everybody involved so far. It's we've got some pretty good names like Kyle Koretsky, Alex Laughlin. I hope to see Kyle continue. Of course, I love those nitro fish cars, and you can see one up in the background back there. So yes, we definitely welcome it. And I look forward to that class growing. All right. So someone named Joe Stanfield is out there demanding a new ice cream scoop. Yes. So that's the one. It's eluded me. So hopefully we can pull it off this year. We need one. You're feeling the pressure. I could tell. Okay, so in the media center, Nikki from the social media department comes up with this crazy idea off the top of her head, right? That's really crazy. Nikki is always coming up with stuff about the first lady racer in Factory X. And she thought Jolie would be a great person to be that person. Is that something that could be on the radar, or is Nikki from NHRA social media department just out there? Well, you never know. We've recently put together one of my old dragsters that I used to just locally bracket race with, and we've stuck her in it, and she's made a few laps, and that's kind of her first time in being in something fast, and I would say faster than she's used to, and she's done really well with it, and we're going to try to do some more bracket racing this year. But yeah, that would be something really cool. Of course, to see her hop in a Factory X and jam some gears, and maybe she might not be so hard on me all the time about driving so bad in the pro stock car once you figure out how hard it is. But but again, she's my biggest supporter, and she definitely, she's not afraid to tell me when I screw up either. Yeah, well, that's good for Jolie, obviously. Wow. She might get in there and show me just how easy it is. Well, exactly. You got Bo and Randy Lynn over there in Mountain Motor. We need, husband-wife team in Factory X. Why not? Let's make it happen. All right, one more question, then we'll let you go. Derek wants to know, and this is something I've been noticing and, having a little fun with every now and again. Aaron, it looks like you're bulking up. Are you going to go compete with Hagen is what you're trying to do, but you have been looking fit. And I wonder, I'm coming at it from the driver perspective, right? Is that helping you be a better driver? Like, I think physical fitness is mental fitness, and that's what you need in a pro stock car. It's not really about strength, but it's very obvious you've been spending some time in the gym with Team Elite and those guys, I guess. Tell me about it. Tell us about it, your physical fitness and how it's working for you as a race car driver. Yes, 100%. Back before I got really busy, I was always into sports and relatively athletic. And, it's kind of life happens and business happens. And I've kind of let that part of me be for a long time. And I had gotten really small. So, yeah, it's been a humongous help for me the main reason for me to doing it was just for my driving. I felt like if I was a little bit stronger and more in shape that I would drive better. And
it really seems like it's helped me, because ever since I've gotten back in the gym and focus on my health a little bit more, I have been able to produce a lot more consistent results behind the wheel. And of course, overall, just feeling better mentally and physically has been a humongous help. And something I'm going to continue to do is try and stay in shape and keep my mind right, so I can do the best job I can do in that race car.
It makes perfect sense. It makes sense that if you're physical, you can
no, Matt Hagan. I don't think my genetics would allow that.
Let's find out. Let's just no, I agree. You'd be when you're wider than you are tall, that's not necessarily a good thing. Coming from someone who can, look you in the eye. Aaron, great job as usual. Tremendous victory out there. You putting that car in the winner's circle, and Pro Stock's going to be crazy, right? You're 5th in the points, 193 out. Dallas, Greg, Erica, Jeg, you, Troy, Jerry, Christian, Derek, Kramer, of course, Quadra. And the way the points are shaping up, this is going to be a brutal championship. There is no favorite. It could go in any direction, and I think that's just what the fans want. So we're super excited to watch it all play out, and we'll see you in Norwalk. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Aaron Stanfield with us here on WFO Radio. Just so exciting to watch it all play out and see as we, go through this journey. We're almost to the Western Swing, guys. Think about it. We're going to Norwalk. Norwalk is a big 4-day race. You got a hardcore Thursday, then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then we're going to take a couple of weeks off. We'll be going to Seattle. We'll be going to Sonoma. We'll be going to Brainerd. Then just like that, you got 3 races before the U.S. Nationals, 4 if you count Norwalk, which is this weekend. What? How did that happen? Where did the season go? What the heck is going on? It has been crazy to see. So put your comments in the comments section. I got a couple more final rounds to showcase. We got no Reinhart here this weekend because Reinhart is on a plane. So your comments are going to take center stage. We want to hear what you guys think. Here's one, for instance, that I can address right now. What was your thoughts on the 2-day format if you didn't already mention it? And I haven't already mentioned it, right? The start of the show was, a little paced, but now we're up and rolling. And I can tell you that I think we had a little bad luck. I'm going to give it an incomplete. I have an opinion that I will be happily sharing, but it's not anything that I would say never do it again for. But with the weather, the heat, what we did was endure one of the greatest challenges that you can ask any sport fan to do in all sports, really. We had Friday, there was nobody there. It was a hardcore Thursday crowd. And so you had nobody there on Friday. Well, we had our Lucas Oil Series cars and pro modified cars racing out there. It was pretty wild. And we had a great day and it was a lot of fun. Did a fair amount of social media and whatnot. Saturday, 2 rounds of racing were on Friday. Saturday, we ran the 3rd round, and then we went into the Mission Foods Drag Racing Series and the pros and Johnson's Horsepower Garage, Mountain Motor, Pro Stock, Pro Modified. 3 sessions in the pros. Long day. Dramatic heat. More than you can expect to ask your average human to endure. And it was a long, grueling day. There's all this talk about the teams. The teams can do it. The teams can do it. The teams, yes, the teams can do it. And so can the announcers, and so can the reporters. And yes, it is physically taxing. Nobody likes to acknowledge, fatigue. I was fatigued. It was tough. But if you offered me $100 for push-up, I could have still, taken you for a couple of grand at the end of the day. We had our wits about us and we were able to do it. No problem. You know who has a harder time doing 3 qualifying sessions in a day? Our fans. We had a great crowd on Saturday. The crowd was awesome. Now, was the crowd bigger because we offered 3 qualifying sessions on Saturday? Maybe. There was no Friday, so they all came on Saturday. So that's, the data analysts are going to have to go through this, and there's going to have to be a lot of analytical research to figure out. But you don't have 2 runs, because they would only have done 1 run on Friday. But you don't have 2 runs on Friday. You have 1 day on Friday, so you push all that crowd into Saturday, and certainly they showed up. It was a great crowd. It was a much bigger crowd than anybody anticipated due to the heat. We thought people would stay home for the heat. I heard, again, anecdotally, that pre-sale tickets were down, and there were people who are close to me who were saying, we're going to have a private showing, that nobody's going to show up. And that turned out to be wrong. We had a huge crowd, a great crowd, a tremendous success story. But in the first qualifying session, the grandstand was packed. In the second qualifying session, the grandstand was very full. In the third qualifying session, the grandstand was sparse. How much can the fans take? You could offer them 10 sessions in a day. How many can they take? And I think that my analysis of the deal is that we outpaced our fans' ability to watch. We gave them more. Tasca is the first to say, we gave them more bang for their buck. Well, we did. But could they handle it? Like if I offer you all you can eat for $20 and half the people go in there and they only have a little, and then a couple people, they're able to just eat and eat and eat for hours, like is it smart business? And that's where my question mark is, because we got to Sunday and Sunday's crowd was sparse. Why was Sunday's crowd sparse? Did we drive our fans into the ground on Saturday? Did we drive them into the ground? They had paid their money. They had showed up. How many people had purchased a Sunday ticket and just couldn't go because they're, not used to that kind of physical torture? You can have all the want to in the world, but the physical able to might not be there. And when you sit all day through the 3 sessions and you take in every drop of it because you paid for it, and then you go home and the object is to get up again tomorrow and do it again, are you going to do it again? Maybe we came to this conclusion of the 2 qualifying sessions per day because that's really all that the fans can take. They might want more. Let's do 5. Let's do 7. Let's do 12. Let's just keep running them, man. Give it all to the fans, except they can't take it. And it affects their ability to show up the next day. A drag race is a bit of a marathon. If you're going to go to 3 days of drag racing, that's 3 days, or in this case, 2 full days of being up, being on your feet, walking around, standing, baking in the sun, very little shade, very little covering, buying and buying your food, paying for your water, going out, and maybe you bring a little something of your own, but you're not at home on your couch in your air conditioning. Certainly, it's much more physically taxing. And when you ask the fans to prolong their experience 1 day, is that what affected Sunday? Is the big Saturday the reason the Sunday was thinner? My thing is, yeah. We expected too much from a normal citizen human to go out there and sit in feels like 108 degrees and watch all that drag racing. And they did it, and it was great. And many of them couldn't come back on Sunday. They just couldn't do it. They didn't have it in them. My dad, nobody loves drag racing more than my dad. Nobody. Man, that would be a lot to ask. That would be a lot to ask of anybody I know. Giovanni in Miami, the people who are on the Ignition show with me, right? They're normal citizens, younger than me. They couldn't do that 2 days in a row. No way. I know what I just did. I know the physical situation that I just went through and put myself through, and I'm still dehydrated and still recovering. Now, granted, I'm working, I'm running around, I'm moving around. They're watching, but it's tough to ask people to do that. It's tough. And so I don't know. I'll let the NHRA decide whether they're going to do it again. And also, Ma Nature served us up a curveball. Nobody planned for that. But Bradenton in February, when you've got 12 cars per category, is very different than middle June in a heat dome in Richmond when you've got 16 or 18 cars in category. It's different. And I'm not against it. I like it. I was one of the big proponents. I've been cheerleading it prior to the Pro Superstar Shootout. But maybe there's a way to, there's no way to predict what Ma Nature is going to do with the temperature. There's no way. So you got to just deal with that. But when you look at the grandstand on Sunday and say there's nobody there, I think you've got to consider that you might have worn your fans out. You might have worn them out. And, all right. I believe you got to experiment. You got to try stuff. And I'm all for that. We tried something. And it definitely put a good crowd in the stands on Saturday. But did we take away from our Sunday crowd because of it? And I don't know if there's a way to even know. I don't know. John Force Rock says, see you in a month. Going to be out there in Sonoma. Park says, definitely looking forward to this weekend. Been off for a long time. Yeah, everybody's going to Norwalk. Wait till I tell you all the people that are going to Norwalk. Keeping John Force in our prayers. Definitely see you in Sonoma in a month. When the heat was on both Jimmy Prock and Alan Johnson hit the sweet spot. How? Because they're the two greatest crew chiefs of their era. That's how. And they've been on, they know a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two, right? This guy, 2-day format, not good. I'd like to know a little bit more. See, I really don't like the one qualifying session on a Friday. So many fans come out and they're like, what's going on? So many fans did not even know that the 2-day format was happening and the 3 qualifying sessions were happening. I had a lot of fans come up to me and complain about it. Like, this is not cool. Nobody told anybody. I'm like, look, it might not be cool and you might not like it for very valid reasons, but it was highly publicized. You obviously are not into drag race media. As someone who was there in person, great idea, bad situation. Still, I think it should be a night race, in my opinion. Floating ideas. Some suggested 3 qualifying sessions on Friday and a late afternoon start on Saturday and run into the early evening. These final rounds that we saw because of the rain delay was beautiful, like the weather and everything. But again, you need Ma Nature to cooperate. I would be interested in experimenting with a Saturday night eliminations. Might be a little cooler, certainly more comfortable. It can be hot at night, but you're not going to be rolling sweat. And that's what it was. It was brutal. It was brutal. All right, let's check out final round. Top Fuel. Doug Coletta gets the win. Let's watch Richmond as Sean Langdon and Doug Coletta battled it out. It was teacher versus student once again. Brian Hughes and Alan Johnson. Alan was so cool on the starting line. Said that Brian's not getting any notes this time. They're I don't want to say they've loosened up, but they've loosened up. They're having fun. 6 wins for Coletta Motorsports. They are 1 and 2 in the points. Let's watch the final round. Doug Coletta on Fox Sports 1.
And Doug Coletta is going to roar down the left side of the racetrack. 375.9, a beautiful run for Doug Coletta, the quickest run of eliminations at 333 miles an hour. Langdon was out on him by 5 thousandths and then up in smoke.
And his 3rd Wally of the season is going in the hands of our reigning champ, Doug Coletta. And Doug, in 9 races, Coletta Motorsports now owns 5 Wallies, you with 3 of them. How unstoppable is this operation right now?
Yeah, we've definitely all worked very hard at Chad Head and Connie. And, we're just real proud of what Connie's put together for us here. And, it's bragging rights, I guess, at the shop. My Mac Tools, Toyota RevCam guys, Alan Johnson, everybody, really hell of a job today. Just going rounds, it was so hot, obviously, and we had this rain delay and all, but it was just a great weekend for all of us.
Doug Coletta, victorious. He was great in the media center, just super happy throughout the first pitch at a Tigers game, and watch out for those guys. What can you say? Doug Coletta has been so strong, and that team, they are hitting on all 8 right now. Coletta Motorsports in general, they are hitting on all 8. J.R. Todd's fire suit in the Smithsonian. I spoke with him, obviously out a little bit earlier than he wanted. He was in a critical matchup against Hagan, who made the final round, but amazing. Let's check out. You guys want to see the Joe's Eye view of these? I'm showing the Fox version, but I can also give you the Joe's Eye view, I think. No, not really. Not in this circumstance. It's not showing up. So I just teased you a little bit. Let's do Funny Car, right? Oh, here it is. Doug Coletta, Joe's Eye. Here we go. See the light in the background, the sun behind the clouds. Nobody in the stands. The rain has already gone away. This is awesome. It's like poetic, romantic, weird drag racing. Not exactly a mosh pit. It was more like throw the man down. And he's like on his back just down there. What are you going to do? Doug Coletta, though, another victory for Doug Coletta. And the points as they sit right now, Doug is the leader over Sean by 67. And all of a sudden, though, at what point does all this like Coletta Motorsports fun, team, there's going to be a reality moment in that they are each other's greatest rivals for the championship. Doug and Sean. Sean wants another title. Doug wants another title. Brian and Alan, they're all working together. When they get to the countdown, though, all of a sudden it's like, oh, we have to battle each other. And they know that, but I think it's going to be kind of interesting. Justin Ashley, third, 108 back. Steve Torrence, 176 back and fourth. Antron Brown, 209 back. So it's a breakaway by the Coletta cars. Tony Schumacher, Billy Torrence, Clay Milliken, Tony Stewart, and Brittany Force rounding out the top 10. On the outside, Josh Hart, Sean Reed, Jasmine Salinas, Dan Mercier, etc. Everybody running. And someone mentions, what about the announcement? That's right. Tony Stewart and Leah Pruitt have announced that they are expecting a baby boy. And that is so awesome. During the rain delay, I got to go down and talk to Matt Hagan and Tony, and he called it his best race weekend as a pro in the NHRA, and I would certainly agree. The car went down the racetrack. He was doing everything right, pedaled it, and then realized that the race was over and just shut it down. But most importantly, the whole point of it, they now have made the announcement that they're expecting a baby, and late in the season, it is going to come, and he is going to come. Congratulations to Tony and Leah, and it's just awesome. It's so cool. And Smoke's gonna have a little terror out there, right? We're gonna junior dragster in the fam. It's gonna be great. All right, let's see what else you guys have to say out there. I love having all day drag racing on Saturday. Feels like you get more bang for your buck, but I love Fridays too. Less people when you get to see the drivers more. I would probably say I like the traditional, but I would tolerate it all day Saturday. Right. Look, there's no bad drag racing. There's no bad deal. Even the one qualifying session. If you love drag racing, it's not bad. It's never bad. It's just, is it too much? Here's a 60-ounce steak. Like, oh man, I can't eat it. But you paid for it. Look at all the bang for the buck you got, but I can't eat it. And then when you eat the 60-ounce steak, how are you feeling the next day? Like, there's a certain thing about, portionality. There's bang for the buck, right? Like, do we want to be the all-you-can-eat grill? Do we want to be the Golden Corral of racing? I don't know. Maybe we do. Maybe we do. The teams can do it. I can do it. I love it. I'm standing up on the starting line, but is the portion too great for the fans to consume and then come back again tomorrow? That's the question. That's the question now. Now, if Ma Nature had served us up like 62 degrees and no humidity and we were out there, sure, we can watch as much as you serve us. But in the middle of the summer, is this going to damage the Sunday crowd because they just took in too much? They ate too much. It was definitely hot. I need Friday Night Nitro. Looks like a lot of testing and licensing on Monday. Yeah, there was testing out there. Bill Bader gives us 2 runs on Friday and let's go. It's almost time. Oh, absolutely. That's the thing. It's about various elements, and most of the 3 qualifying session races have gone away. Maybe that will change. Like, I don't like the 3 qualifying session races at all. I think it's bad for competition. I think it's bad for the racers. But there are people who know more than I do about things. And everything I said at the start of the show about speculation, there's numbers that I don't know what they are. And so I can't, everybody that says stuff without knowing all the information, they're just kind of floating. You know, what do they say? If you don't show me data, you're showing me an opinion, and that's it. I mean, you're running a race in the South in June. It's going to be hot, and other series run at night at places that are hot, like F1 in Bahrain. Yeah, a 2-hour deal. It's a very poor comparison. Drag racing is not Formula One. Formula One, the entire experience is about 3 hours, from getting there, walking around, watching the race, and leaving. But everybody wants night racing, and I want night racing too. There are many reasons that they have said. Let's see what Earl Nichols says. Is there any reason most tracks don't have a roof over the grandstands other than cost? I think it would be cost effective. You know, Earl, I thought that too. And I even put out a post on X showing the Richmond grandstand, which I believe of the grandstands that I've seen would be the easiest and most affordable to cover. It's manageable in size, with those triangular shaped fabric sails, you know, those triangles that you put over the top. You put some poles in. That's going to cost you money. I think it's like $50,000 to put in a big pole, right? So you'd have to put in, I think, 4 or 5 of them, 6 of them, something like that. I don't know. Maybe but this thing's got to be strong enough to hold a big fabric sail, but you put in coverings over the grandstand. So I put it out there like, hey, like, how much would you be willing to pay if these grandstands were covered? And Earl, you know the answers I got? The most common answer was $10. So then it's not cost effective. If every fan is only willing to spend $10, the answer is $50 to protect yourself for the sun in your seat for an entire day. These people who said $10 are really talking about the price of a Big Mac. The only value that these people put on being covered for an entire day was the value of a Big Mac. $10. Like, that's out of whack. So if the drag racing fans are only willing to spend $10 to be covered, then no one is ever going to do it. Beach Bend did it way back in the day, and that's still, you know, the structure is still there, and that's fine. Bristol has got some that are covered because their suites extend out over it. Very smart by them. But Richmond could cover their grandstands. But if their fans are only willing to spend $10, no, man, the number is like $50 to be under a covering, and it'd be worth every cent. But maybe people don't have it. Maybe they don't have it. You know, Formula One, year 1 in Miami, they were uncovered. Year 2, everyone was covered. And the ticket prices went up a little bit. Something, you know, nominal in the grand scheme of things. From like $800 for the full event to $900 for the full event. But they paid for their fabric, if you know what I'm saying. Blake, it can be harder on people with disabilities and elderly people. Exactly. And we have a lot of fans with disabilities, and we have a lot of fans that would be considered elderly based on their age. Baking in the sun. How many fans have the money, would love to come to the track, but just, you know, when you turn on the news and it says, heat warning, physical safety in jeopardy, be cautious, they decide not to come. Russ Kramer, stock racer. I like it better when sportsman and pro racing are together and spread out. One pro session relatively early, the sportsman racing, let fans see that, and they can go to the pits, come back later in the day for the pros. Again, you know, Russ, I like that too, and I have encountered so many people that have different opinions on that. Some people will tell me that we should run all of the sportsman racing to conclusion on Saturday and get them out of there for Sunday. Sportsman racers that want to go home. They tell me that all the time. I hear that a lot. And then I hear a lot of people like Louis Bloom used to say, we don't have enough sportsman racing on Sunday. People come to see racing and they're not seeing the sportsman cars race down the track, and getting them down to 4 cars in the semifinals was not a good idea. That we needed to get, we need at least 8 cars in category on Sunday. And then recently someone suggested to me that we should get all the way down to the final round so that each sportsman category knows that they're in the final round when they wake up on Sunday morning, and that they can publicize the fact that they're in the final round, and people can think about the stock eliminator final round as this guy versus that guy, and we could hype it up a little bit. So I don't know is the answer. Well, wealth of blessings, right? We've got amazing racing and amazing fans and amazing cars. Too many to enjoy all at once. How do we do it? Prayers for John. Watching on my NHRA.TV this weekend, I did notice the Sunday attendance. How could you not? It was brutally hot. Sounds like back to 3 days for TV and all on Sunday, too much. Friday Eve, Saturday, and Sunday are the best. Just my 2 cents, says Randy Johnson. Thank you for your opinion, Randy. I would prefer, again, I don't know the numbers, but 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, 4 on Sunday. The traditional event that came about probably because they have already learned this lesson in the past. People wonder why we do things the way we do. We do these things the way we do because 2 generations ago, everybody figured it out, and they went through all these experiences that we're going through, and they came up with a reason, and they instituted it, and we adopted it, and then they passed away, and we don't know why because they never told us, and now we're making the same mistakes again. Sound familiar? Joe, do you already know who's doing the ice cream eating contest in Norwalk? Yeah, some. Gianna Salinas is defending her title. She's already taking her Lactaid because she's lactose intolerant. I reached out to Daniel Wilkerson to be in the contest. He says no, lactose intolerant, can't do it. Gianna, the champ, Daniel, just so you know, is lactose intolerant, and she has got a method to participate. And she says she's also training because she wants to be the first to go back to back. She's going to have a tough task, though. Buddy Hull has entered the contest, and we need a top fuel racer, and we need a pro stock racer. I was going to ask Aaron, but I assumed that he would not be into it. Like a very serious individual. Does he want to be seen eating ice cream in a contest? I don't know. But we're looking for a pro stock racer, and we're looking for a top fuel racer, and we'll get it. I got my best woman on it. Parks. From a crew standpoint, once the adrenaline kicks in and the weather is pretty much a non-factor. As a fan, there's nothing worse than baking in the sun with no refuge. Exactly, Parks. And you've been both, and you've been there in the campground and all. We could have done a bonus session, and it doesn't matter the value you're getting at some point when you're dealing with extreme heat. Now, some might say, if we did exactly what we do again next year and we don't have world record heat, and it's just normal heat, talk like 80, 85 instead of 105, maybe it would have been different. And I tend to agree there. So I would do it again. I'm up for doing it again. I support doing it again. But the hot take is too much. True, some fans aren't made to handle this kind of weather, but as they say, you knew what you were signing up for. Yeah and no. They just leave, right? Like, oh, this is too hot. They don't have to stay. So that's it too. But it could be a negative trend. In Norwalk, where they do a pound of ice cream. Where do they do the pound of ice cream? They do it everywhere at their concession stands. They've got an ice cream shop. The 3-session format is definitely better for the teams too. The problem on Sunday was the heat. The problem on Saturday was the heat, says Clint. Teams liked it. 2 on Friday Eve, 2 on Saturday, eliminations on Sunday. Is there a noise curfew in Richmond? I heard 10 p.m. Amen. I hate only 3 rounds. LOL. Just generally, not in one day or not. Went to E-Town 2 days in a row, and yes, it is taxing. Always took that Monday off. Right. Most people can't take a day off. I have really become a Doug Coletta fan, says Chuck. As I watch this replay, it reminds me of Topeka last year. Weather-wise, it was tough in Topeka. I remember crawling under the stage. It was brutal. Always nice when a Louisiana driver wins. Hopefully we'll get a national event again soon. I hope so too. Let's see. Worst part about long, hot days is performance generally doesn't improve. So qualifying gets boring. And should you want to cool down during downtime, you'll go broke at the concession stands. Well, I don't know if you go broke at the concession stands. I went to the concession stand and I got a breakfast sandwich and a coffee for $8, which is cheaper than McDonald's. Okay, so that is not necessarily true. I don't know what they were charging for water and beer, but the concession stand, the Hot Rod Grill in Richmond, in my opinion, deserves to be noted for its fair price point. Fair price point. I found that to be fair as far as I'm concerned, the folks at Richmond. And they had the great kids doing the concession stand there. All right, let's talk funny car. Austin Prock, Joe's Eye View, final round. Here we go. How about that? Jimmy Prock, after his son, wins again. An amazing victory. That is the Joe's Eye View. Let's watch the Fox Sports 1 broadcast. Brian Lones, Tony Pedregon, and Amanda Busick with the interview.
Held our breath to even get past the first round here. Who knew we would see this magic happen in front of us? And Tasca blazes the tires, and Austin Prock, low AT in the meet, 392.1, 327 miles an hour, a 49 reaction time. That is all of it. A slam dunk from the three-point line for Austin Prock.
Austin, your third Wally in funny car is one I'm sure you won't forget in your entire lifetime. At the top end in Bristol, you said you were living your dream. John Force was a believer in that dream. Where will that Wally go?
It's going straight to the hospital to John Force. Well, shit, I hope he's out, actually, but, well, I'll find out. But this is definitely dedicated to John Force. My grandpa told me before I left, he said, go get a Wally, and we definitely did that. 374s back in the winner's circle, and that's really special. So I finally got my stuff together on the starting line there, chopped the tree down, and they gave me a fast Prock rocket there. So God bless, and thank the Lord for keeping John Force safe today.
Wow! Yeah, way to go, Austin Prock. Dynamic personality coming onto the scene, really doing a great job. I had an interview with Matt Hagan in the pits, available on NHRA social media, where he said that watching Prock celebrate made him mad. Not at Austin, but at himself. Like, I got to work harder. And Austin Prock is really changing the category in a class where we had this big four. All of a sudden, he is kind of accelerating out into the lead a little bit. The car's been amazing, 3 wins already, and the way they're doing it. As far as John Force, if you're just tuning in, we have had a lot of people sign on to watch the show, and I will just read you the update from NHRA.com. It's the same update that was out last night. But the important part, attending doctors purposely were moving slowly and assessing the extent of the injuries to the Hall of Fame owner because of the intensity of the impact. Medical staff will not provide treatment or recovery timetable until a total evaluation is completed. And you heard Austin say, I hope he's out at that point. John is still in the ICU at Virginia Hospital. And so that is important for everybody to know and understand. And I ask you to please not speculate on anything. Andrew says, will NHRA be back in Virginia next year? Lots of rumors floating around. And so, Andrew, I'm just going to use you as a great example. Like, no, they're not. We did ticket renewals at the track. If we were not going to be back, we would not have renewed people's tickets because that would have been a waste of time. We'd have to refund them. We as an NHRA, which I'm a contractor and I work for them. They hire me to come in. But that's exactly my point in this critical moment. There are people who say all kinds of stuff. And when you hear someone say, people are saying all kinds of stuff. People say that the earth is flat. People say the moon landing didn't happen. People say anything you want to get someone to say, I can find you someone to say anything about anything tomorrow. Remember, the NHRA was out of business during the pandemic. That people were saying that, right? That never true. And notice those people never, ever go on the social and say, guys, dear friends and followers, earlier this week, I posted something about something that turned out to not be true. And I just want to apologize for misinforming all of you. That never happens. Okay. So all I can say to you, Andrew, is like things change and who knows, but we asked a lot of people to renew their tickets for next year. And that gives me confidence that we are planning on having a race there next year. And I spoke with Tommy and Judy Franklin and Tyler, and everybody seemed pretty positive on the situation. So whether, a lot of rumors floating around, meaning there's a lot of people talking crap, just saying stuff that may or may not be true. And I don't know what to think, WFO Joe. I don't know what to think. So if you hear it on WFO, I will give you like 80% fact. And then you got to just watch and do your own research and take it as best as you can, because we can report something and it could change. But those rumors, weren't watching Hannah from the Hannah Cabana holding the helmets up, because she definitely doesn't want to be doing that for no reason. Joe's eye view, pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool. Excellent perspective. Yeah. Force and Schumacher teams have been dealing with it forever. Multiple runs in a day. Pound of ice cream in Norwalk. Yeah, pound of ice cream in Norwalk. It's not a pound anymore. It's a pint. They give you a pint. I support it. A lot of people were very upset about it, thinking if things change. Like, oh, don't give me a pound of ice cream anymore. First of all, you didn't get a pound of ice cream in the past. You just got a serving of ice cream that looked like it should probably be a pound. Now you get a pint. But here's the difference. You wait in line way less. So this is a perfect example of the psychology of the consumer, right? You're going to get probably a little less ice cream, and it's not scooped for you, but you're going to get it in a third of the time. And I think it's $2 instead of $1, right? A marketing ploy to make the fans happy. I thought it was cute too. I definitely liked it. I was questioning going into Norwalk last year, and I want to say to the Bader family, if you happen to be watching, very smart, savvy, and fan-friendly decision. They're getting a pint of ice cream for $2. Still a killer deal. Unbelievable deal. And the fact that it's happening in a third less time. Give me the money, give you the pint. See you later. Give me the money, give me the pint. See you later. You're handing them out, as opposed to give me your dollar, scooping into this stupid thing. The line was taking forever. You'd wait in the line an hour. People were waiting in line an hour and a half to get their ice cream. And now it happens like that. Whoever came up with that idea, a perfect example of something that makes you go, is that going to be? And it turned out to be so much better. And nobody is telling you that it's better. It's better. It's way better. They deserve an award. They get the WFO first ever inaugural Marketing Genius Award, charging more for the ice cream and handing out prepackaged pints. It was the best idea ever because the line goes by like that. You don't have to wait, because what's the most valuable thing that you've got in your life? It's not your money. It's your time. You'd be out there enjoying drag racing. Instead, you're waiting for a pint of ice cream. Ridiculous. What an ingenious idea that they had that I don't know if they've been celebrated nearly enough for that, but they just got the first ever award here. It's happy for Tony and Leah. Let's do 4 qualifying sessions on Saturday. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do 4. 8, noon, 2, 6. Let's keep everybody there for, let's just the 24 hours of NHRA. There's endurance races and other series. Let's do the 24 hours of NHRA and just start at 6 a.m. one day. And then we'll run the finals at, 5:50 a.m. the following day and just have everything happen. And it'll be a wonderful endurance race. We can do it. We'll come up with crazy ideas, Chuck. I'm all full of craziness. Craig says, what I like the most about it is that NHRA is willing to try new things. NHRA and the teams deserve huge kudos. Exactly. Did it work or did it not work? It doesn't matter. Maybe it worked a little or worked better in a different situation. You've got to try stuff. You've got to try things. That's how you stumble onto great things. You can't always do the same thing. So it's a win regardless. What happened to the exhibition cars? There's been no fire for Joe to announce this year. That's a good point, Lonnie. I wonder. Rumors. Will Hart show up to drive John's car, or will Ashley get in the car? Family, right? Yeah, I don't even want to go there. And honestly, until John is, until that update comes out, I don't even want to let my mind go, who's running the car and all of that stuff. That's something I'm eager to just wait and see, and they will allow us to know that when it happens. Right? It's inconsequential. John, his health and wellness. It's the only thing that I really care about in this moment, right? Met John at Lions Drag Strip. Shouldn't run at night in the summer, races for sure. Just so you know, it was pretty hot at 10 p.m. for the cover at $50 your ticket. Exactly. $50. Hey, Joe, do you know how John is doing? Asks Maddie. Maddie, it's in the update. No, I do not. I know he's still in the ICU. There will not be updates on a minute-by-minute basis. So we just got to show some patience. We will be drag racing indoors by 2050. It's only a matter of time. Well, it's not really a matter of time. It's a matter of budget. I love the idea of drag racing indoors, but it doesn't have to be indoors. You just need a sun cover. A weather cover would be great, but you're talking a tremendous financial investment. We can't get a track built, let alone an indoor track, but I would love it. And if you're doing it, let's, crank up the air conditioning, baby. AC drag racing. Oh, now we can do 10 sessions in a day. Shade is nice, but if you don't have a breeze, forget about it. Well, no, shade minus breeze equals better than direct sunlight. Some sort of formula algorithm we just created right there. Beach Bend is my home track. Best around. Yes, but not a national event track. And I love what they do. They covered their fans. Covering their fans. That shows you care about them and you want to see them live. I sit on the sunny side every time at BMP. I wear my hat and sunscreen. Umbrellas are too dangerous, especially in Florida. There were a lot of umbrellas there. They were, I guess, allowed. I don't know what the policy is, but typically the people behind you hate the umbrella. Just anecdotally. If the person in front of me has got an umbrella, I usually dislike them unless they let me sit under their umbrella. Hey, Joe, what NHRA facility is supposedly getting a dome? None. I've joked about the Koretsky's doming Maple Grove just because they're builders and they build. All right. There was one other big thing that happened this weekend, and it was Gage Herrera winning his 10th straight. And, it gets pushed back to last year on the show just because of the circumstance of the show. We had Aaron Stanfield and we've been talking to John Force and whatnot. But this should not be understated. This is drag racing history. He broke a tie with Bob Glidden. He won 10 in a row, and he's perfect on this season. He is perfect on this season. So let's watch the Fox Sports 1 final round. Hopefully you can see Eddie Krawick and Andrew Hines, trash talking each other. Look at that face. Look at Eddie.
See Eddie Krawick, the crew chief for Richard Gatson, inviting.
I like Gatson. Gatson said, yeah, I'm here too.
I like it. Inviting Gage Herrera to stage first. They both lead with exactly the same reaction time, 22 and 22. And for the 10th time straight, Gage Herrera has claimed a Wally. 675.5 beats a 678.6. Tony, this is the most astonishing streak this sport has seen in 4 decades.
And Brian, his team has made it up here to celebrate this streak as well. Brian Loans called this an astonishing streak that we haven't seen in drag racing in over 4 decades. How do you describe the ride that you're on, Gage?
It's hard to describe it. I mean, it doesn't seem real to me. I mean, that was an awesome final, for whole Vance Hines, Motul, Revzil, Suzuki, just all of Vance Hines. I mean, me and Richard had the same light off the line, and can't ask for a better race like that, but all Vance Hines final. But to get 10 straight wins and now, hold that record, that national record and all that, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't want to cry on camera, but it's just crazy. I never would have thought, my name would have been in any type of history book, and it's just amazing. So it's time to celebrate tonight. It's gonna be good for whole Vance Hines, and not only that, but me. So this was probably the biggest monkey of all, and I'm glad it's off my back. Thank you.
Gage Herrera, that's now the Joe's Eye View. Joe's Eye View. Congratulations to Vance and Hines, by the way. To win 10 straight anything is incredible. What Gage did, managing the pressure, big runs against tough competitors, and getting the job done. No red lights, no mistakes, no missed shifts, no mistakes. But the biggest monkey is not off of his back just yet, because they're 5 for 5. And as a person who lives in Miami, world championship town, what do you think about the perfect Miami Dolphins or the most recent Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers? Big game last night. People celebrating out at the world famous Elbow Room. The cup is in the Atlantic Ocean. They're bathing with it. It's incredible. Congratulations, Panthers. Amazing, amazing run. Stanley Cup champions. I've been on the ice many times early in my radio career. I had to do the intermission game host, go down there and with a couple of contestants, and they would dress up in these, sumo suits and battle each other on the ice. Crazy stuff. So the Panthers organization, Stanley Cup champions, amazing. They did it in dramatic fashion. Oh my gosh, going down to game 7, just killing the nerves. But now that everybody down there, the party is still going on at the world famous Elbow Room. It's amazing. I tweeted out some videos, guys, if you want to check it out. But the idea that they were able to deliver in each one of those situations to come up with 10 consecutive wins is huge. But now, they're perfect on the season. Who will be the one who ends the streak? There is a certain kind of fame that comes with that. Will it be Matt Smith? I'm sure Matt Smith will take great pride. Matt Smith losing to Angie. Angie winning on a hole shot. I didn't have that one in my drag race bracket bonanza. That killed my bracket, by the way, because I had Matt beating Gage in the final round to end the streak is what I had. Right? Felt like that was apropos. It would like really turn up the intensity on the season. But Gage, can Gage go perfect? Can he sweep a season? Could that happen? Nobody thought the Dolphins would do it, and they were perfect. So we'll see. All right, put some comments in the comment section, your final comments. I'll go through all your comments, but I do want to take the time, now that we're deep into the show, we had some really tough news at the start. Obviously, John in the ICU, Roger Richards passing. And I always like to separate all the marketing from the reality. But now we've had some fun in the show. I just want to flash the logos to the people who make it possible. Like, these are people, without them, I would not be able to do this show. They have confidence in us to go on the air each week and promote their products, like Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology. The Jason Line episode is going like a gangbusters. Everybody loves it. The breaking news about the Sox and Martin Hemi Challenge, that hopefully he's going to be running Bucky's car out there. That's really exciting. I think has brought a lot of energy to the event. But TotalSeal.com, when you're building an engine, or if you're an engine builder, go to them first, certainly. FTI Performance Transmissions, they are the choice for Project Pontiac. We've got an FTI Power Glide, and we're going to have an FTI torque converter in the Project Pontiac, and super excited. All you got to do is look in the winner's circle. They're located in DeLand, Florida. They have first-class customer service. They do a great job. If you're building a car, it could be a street car. You can order a torque converter on Jegs and Summit. Go to FTIperformance.com. Foggett, also available at SummitRacingEquipment.com. It's just a can like this. And every one of you, if you want to support WFO Radio, can go to Foggett.com and order this can of Foggett. Now, it's designed to protect your cylinder hone and your cylinder finish. But think about you've, going to fire an engine for the first time. Those valve springs and the rocker arm tips and the valve tips, like everywhere that needs a little extra protection and lubrication, Foggett can be utilized. The folks at Foggett doing a great job. Bernie's Speed Shop. BURNYZZ.com, 100,000 square feet up there in Ocala, Florida. They buy and sell on consignment. So if you've got a muscle car you want to sell, go to Bernie's. CWTindustries.com. That's Randy Neal's Balance Machine Company. For all you machine shop guys, CWTindustries.com. And of course, the great friends at Phillips Connect. Marvin Rodak, if you're a coffee person, you see me sipping on this coffee every once in a while. I need a little bit of caffeine, but it's not just caffeine. It's greatness. The best from around the world, literally. Small batches from small plantations, some that only make 10 bags of coffee a year. And Marvin gets it. He gets first call from around the world. Really amazing. 817-924-6821. Our great friends at Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, which are taking people like yourselves and putting them in dragsters to experience the fun. Makes a great gift. It's called the Dragster Venture. And of course, our friends at samtech.edu. These are the people who make it possible. Yes, Project Pontiac is coming along. We are very close. Our merch is still on sale, guys. This merch sale has lasted forever. It's like $16 t-shirts, and the hats are $22. I haven't really been promoting the hats because I haven't seen them yet. It's a new offering. I have ordered a couple for myself, and I'm going to evaluate them. They've got the trucker cap, and they've got the dad cap. Guess which one I ordered? The trucker cap. The dad cap are kind of those rounded, flat ones. Yeah, they're not. Nah. But we've got all the designs that are up there. Wide F and open available. Looks great on a hat, by the way. You'd be shocked. Looks great on a hat. Miami Hollywood Speedway. And, of course, our regular logo. You're helping the show if you're ordering swag. Get it while it's on sale, though. And the link is in the chat section right now. All right, let's see what everybody's got to say. Let's wrap this. My great friends, the Jasons, Logan and Galvin, are taking advantage of the fact that I'm not on tomorrow at 12 noon. You know, we've been working real hard to cultivate that 12 noon on Wednesday. A live audience like this 1 o'clock on Tuesday is a great audience. If you are, subscribe and click the bell, never miss a show, listen to the audio only podcast, please write us a review, all of that stuff they tell you to say. But 12 noon on Wednesday is also our time slot, and we're on most of the time, but we won't be on tomorrow because I'm traveling to Norwalk. So the Jasons were like, when are you on? And I was like, you guys should go on at 12 noon because there's going to be a bunch of people who are eager to watch some drag racing related content, and they've got a good show. They've got Kelly Crandall and Elin Werner, two media experts. Like I will call them media experts. And what are they going to talk about? They're going to talk about, in my opinion, the way that many in the media have handled this recent John Force situation and how there's a right way and a wrong way. I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I think it's going to be a very interesting Life's a Drag show tomorrow at noon. And yes, I am promoting those guys and helping them out. And I hope you guys will watch their show tomorrow. Let's see. Now I'm going to knock out the rest of these comments and see where everybody's. It would be nice to have cool stations for fans that spray water. Yes. And some places do. I know Norwalk and Seattle, some places do. I would love to see Lyle Barnett in the ice cream eating contest, but I don't think Pro Mod is in Norwalk. They're not. No Pro Mod in Norwalk. The only category, the next time you see Pro Mod will be in the playoffs. And that is a great note to play Ricky Smith's final round because Tricky Ricky gets it done. I don't have a Joe's Eye view, but I got the Fox Sports 1 view.
The final two cars of the return of NHRA to Virginia. They're full in. They're staged. They're off. Ricky Smith has got 600s in the bank. Watch the top of the scoreboard. 5-7-0-2. Ricky Smith goes 5-7-0-2, 253 for the win.
with Ricky Smith on the top end here. His 21st national event win, your 18th in Pro Modified. And for somebody who went into the Hall of Fame this year, did you ever believe this would be a moment you would have again in your career?
I never thought I could win another race, at 70 years old. I'm just so proud of the people that's behind me. I got like Richard Bell, Steve Vick, and main of all, Parkway Ford Jr. Michael Van. Y'all just don't understand. I wouldn't even made the last 3 years out here without him. He has supported me. He didn't have to do this. It's awesome, man. I mean, my wife's here, Tommy, Chad, which is my main man. I got Richard here, my wife. People, I don't even know what to say. I'm usually crying. I'm overexcited. Right now, I don't even know if it's hit me. Out of all the races I've won, how I pulled this race off here, because we weren't even qualified to the last run. Thank God, thank NHRA, thank Parkway Ford. That's all I can say, baby. Thank y'all. I love you. Whoa!
Ricky Smith and Jason Galvin with the interview at the top end of the racetrack. Tremendous job by Jason, and he'll tell you about that moment tomorrow on Life's a Drag at 12 noon. But yeah, Tricky Ricky. Underappreciated, by the way. Like, look, Ricky he has no filter. Right? He's got no filter. He's a no filter kind of guy. Lyle Barnett said he's going to get the senior discount at Hardee's as we did the marquee matchup on stage. It was amazing. If you don't watch NHRA TV, you miss every single pre-race show, which is too bad because a lot of great stuff happens on those pre-race shows. But Ricky Smith, in his lack of filter, he'll say something positive, he'll say something negative, but you have to take a step away from all that and just appreciate him for his let's call it a freakish, age-defying nature, just like John Force at 70 years old. What holds Ricky back? He needs people to help him. Like he tells you his body can't do what it once did as often as it does. When Chad Hester can help him out, then he doesn't have to do as much physical stuff and he goes out and wins the race. Way to go, Ricky. If you're out there, man, you're amazing. You are amazing. Ricky Smith is amazing for him to do that in this Pro Mod field, as tough as it was. Way to go, Ricky Smith. Let's see. Jim Norris says, get Larry to do it for Pro Stock. Tell him I said that. What? Larry Morgan will be in our ice cream eating contest? Norris, you think he'll do that? He won't do that. If he'll do it, I'll put Larry Morgan in there. Larry Morgan is a celebrity. Everybody loves Larry Morgan. That's one of the guys that I have never heard anybody say anything negative about Larry Morgan ever. Never. And they'll be racing out there. Let's see if we can do it. Nice job, NHRA and VMP with the racetrack given the temperatures. There is no more pound of ice cream for $1. It's like I said, I already did a riff on that. And yeah. Why is everyone complaining? Is that about now or is that about life? The answer is because they can. Once upon a time, people would say something like, there's no use in complaining because nobody's listening. Except nowadays, everybody's got their own broadcast station right here, and they can complain about whatever the heck they want. So, of course, they do. For me, the more qualifying racing rounds, the better. It can be tough on me, but I love drag racing. Good job, Blake. I agree. Prock winning the race after what happened with John, nothing short of a simple serendipity. Yeah, I agree, Chuck. It was great for Austin. Austin Prock, I like the kid a lot. I like everybody. I try to find the best in everybody. I try really hard to find the silver lining in every cloud and turn the lemonade into lemonade. You get it. But Austin, what he's doing is elevating the class again. What? Love Joe's eye view. Thank you very much. What's not to like? Right? Which is why I'm doing it. It's that I'm not a good enough person to deserve to get to see that all by myself every race and not have it shared with something. I'm not. It's if you love drag racing, to see the people who work so hard celebrate on the ground and close up. And obviously TV can only show what they show because it's a different kind of format. But I'm glad you like it. Thank you very much. So please subscribe. Buy a shirt. There it is. Joe, we need an interview with one of the camera people who get to be up close and personal. Oh, I'm sure Randy would love to do that. That would be great. Thank you, Eric. We can make that happen for you. I got a couple of big interviews coming, by the way. Don't miss this show in the next few weeks. Props to Ricky Smith, won 2 national events in 2 classes with the same car, plus he's retired. Ooh, interesting stat, Steve Brenwald. What about that? Winning 2 national events in the same season with the same car. I'm sure Super Gas, Super Street, definitely not Super Comp, Super Gas. When Comp Eliminator and okay, statisticians, get on that one. Don't know. Much respect to the safety safari and the track crew for restoring the track surface after the heavy rain. Great job. Yeah, a lot of people. Man, I wish you could hear everything that people tell me. Wish you could hear it. And I don't blame them. You got to meet people where they are. I don't blame them for giving their opinion. I want their opinion. But, this is never going to happen. We're done. It's over. Oh, no, we're going down. Not only that, low ET of the meet. Great racing. Let's see. I don't know what that is. Good job, Austin. John is where he needs to be for right now, getting taken care of. He'll be back. Yeah, I hope so. Anybody who's worried about going on the racetrack or any of that, check your priorities, man. Seriously. If you admit you're wrong, you could be perceived as a loser. Yeah, something that's very wrong with our civilization and our society. I don't want to go there, but right. People who admitting that they're wrong, it's just a learning opportunity. It's all learning opportunity. Hidden horsepower. Talk to these engine builders that are constantly failing forward. You try 10 things and none of them work, and then it gets you to the one thing that does work, and you've learned every time you fail. But when you are sharing inaccurate and information that's totally speculative, that's definitely makes you a loser. Hey, Joe, heat has always been a race fan's hurdle. There's no perfect answer. Maybe some cheaper air-conditioned areas. I don't think any technology that exists would have lasted very long in that. Outdoor air conditioning, maybe some misters would have been nice. A cool zone, but that's something that unfortunately can't travel. The NHRA fits all their stuff into a bunch of trucks. The tracks would have to do that kind of thing. But yeah, those cool zones with misters that they turn on with public water and a hose, where people and kids can kind of walk through and cool down. They had that at the Formula One race. I don't know how much that stuff costs. Yeah, Joe's candid opinions, right? You don't get them all the time. Drag racing fans are the best conspiracy theorists and rumor mongers. So true, Jim Parks. Whether it's how Bader sells ice cream or why Forces Shoots didn't deploy, they never disappoint. Exactly. Well, they just make stuff up. And what makes us great is also what makes us terrible. It's the same genetic code that enables people to never be stopped, right? We can't do that. Why can't we do it? Well, we don't have the tool. Let's build the tool. Well, the tool can only be made by this machine. Well, let's build the machine. Well, the machine takes a special metal available on Mars. Well, let's build a rocket and go to Mars and get it. That's the drag racer mentality. And so when they are presented with something that is presented as fact or information, they're just not going to accept it. They don't accept. Drag racers don't accept. And so what makes us strong also makes us weak, because they're the first ones to spread misinformation, disinformation, totally false information, and inaccurate information. Don't believe anything. It's you gotta meet them where they are and just tell them hey guys, try to control the negative side as best as you can, please. Not economically viable, but I do miss Thursday through Sunday racing. Well, come out to Norwalk, because that's exactly what we got. Starting on Thursday, I'll be out there doing some social media for the National Hot Rod Association. I was in Norwalk last year, and the wait time for the ice cream was great compared to the year before. Yeah, no, genius. Sometimes a little something quickly at a slightly lesser value is much better than a whole lot of something, and it takes forever to do it, which is pretty much what we're dealing with. Richard Kirk, thanks for a speedy recovery for John Force. Thanks to Joe for a great informative live show. Yeah, me by myself, no Reinhart, just gonna figure it out. I've done shows by myself before, as you can imagine, for hours and hours at a time, but we had Reinhart up until an hour before the show, and then we lost him. I'll start a rumor that Joe is taking Project Pontiac Pro Mod Racing. Too bad that Alan Reinhart has already pretty much started that rumor. Build the super street car, guys. If we make, 700 horsepower, we're good. Koretsky might be able to build the dome if he jacks up the unexpected parking fees. Attendance is also about affordability. Yeah, man, but the dome would be great. Let's just dome it, right? Hashtag dome it. A lot of people were complaining about, I saw someone crying on Facebook in my own WFO Radio Facebook group, which is a nice group of friendly, fun people, about how paying for parking is unfair and everything. There was no paying for parking. There was free parking in Richmond. Like if you want the super parking, then you might have to pay for that. But there was free parking in Richmond, guys. So speaking of unfounded, incorrect information, complaining about something that's going to happen that never happens. Let's see. University of Tennessee, college baseball. Congratulations. I'm surprised the other teams haven't at least tried to put some sugar in Gage's gas tank. Well, there has been a bit of a negative response. Here's some news I just want everybody to understand as I'm falling behind, guys. It's funny that I'm doing all the comments slows the show down. And I'm really overserving the audience right now, doing exactly what I'm telling people to not do. So my apologies. But here's a couple more. I'm going to skip to the end of the comments. My apologies if I didn't read your comment. But we'll end with a couple more that are important. But Spencer Massey, back on the entry list. If you're smart, you're wondering, whose car is Spencer running? And I think it's great news. Spencer is going to be driving Krista Baldwin's car. Exactly. Isn't that great? Spencer going to be part of an entry list. There's 20 top fuel dragsters. TJ Zizzo, Trip Tatum, Dan Mercier, Doug Foley. So which big show star is going to DNQ? Too many good cars. What's going to happen? Now, 4 qualifying sessions, the cream will rise, you'd assume. But Zizzo, you'd think, is going to qualify. And Spencer Massey and Krista's car, that's a great car. That's Dakin's old combination with Spencer driving. They're going to qualify. And Trip Tatum has got an NHRA national event winning car. He's going to qualify. And they're all going to qualify. Everybody, all 20 of them are going to qualify for the 16 spots. Obviously not. So who's going to get bit? I referenced it earlier when talking to Aaron. Watch out for Corey Reed. Pro Stock Motorcycle Corey Reed is running Pro Stock for KBTR, which is what I'm starting to call KB Titan Racing, just to try it out. KBTR. Does it work? You tell me. But Corey Reed, I'm excited to see Corey Reed. How does that happen? Well, he's sponsored by J&A Service. Jim and Annie Whiteley. Jim Whiteley and Annie Whiteley are silently, and not a lot of people talk a lot about this, but they are part of the group that purchased into KB Titan Racing Engines along with Eric Latino. And so why wouldn't Corey Reed go get involved with Pro Stock? Joey Gladstone has been doing back halves of race cars and working all kinds. Like that is a talent right there that I think will do very well in Pro Stock. And I'm very excited to see Corey out there run Pro Stock this weekend. In funny car, Nitro Joe Morrison making his first ever funny car race in Paul Smith's funny car, his entertainer, as I understand it. Folks at Right to Breathe are going to be out there. Nitro Joe Morrison got his funny car license last year, but this will be his first race. Chris King going to be out there. Dale Creasy. I think this is the return of Dale Creasy. So very excited about funny car. We got 20 top fuel dragsters, 18 funny cars, 18 pro stockers. And here is what got me to start this conversation, which is only 14 pro stock motorcycles. Gage effect. The Gage effect. Why bother? I don't have a chance. I can't do that. We can't do that. If Matt Smith can't beat him, I can't beat him. Let's find something else to do. Now, Hector Arana had a really good motorcycle, went red. Like, no offense, Hector. I'm sorry to bring it up because it's negative, but like they had a pretty quick bike. Thing about Gage is he doesn't beat himself in addition to the competition beating him. Guys won 10 straight races. So we are seeing a Gage effect. Factory X, Kyle Koretsky back at the track. Going to be super excited to see Kyle. So everybody wants to be a part of this Norwalk race. They all want to be a part of the Norwalk race. And just as simple as that. Congratulations to last week's winners. Roger Richards will be missed. Love his jokes and his great witness NHRA events. Rest in peace, buddy. Absolutely. Brittany's going to win the race. I would hope. They have a good weekend. And then we'll end off on Phil. Way to go, Phil. Bringing it back to what matters the most. And I'll end there. And thank you all for watching this show and enjoying the show and spending time with me and everybody. Guys, I'm doing my best, right? Like, this is it. This is it. I love drag racing. I love the people in the sport. I try very hard to showcase what I think is amazing. The problem-solving ability and the technical ability and the teamwork And I love our sport, and I love this sport. And I've worked in many other sports, team sports, NASCAR, IndyCar, all of those. Drag racing, in my opinion, touches my soul the most because of the people, and it's, I think maybe we're all a little ADHD, and it gives us the most. One race for 3 hours, not enough. Let's get, hundreds of races over the course and all these different categories and all these people. Like, think about Johnny Placino wins Johnson's Horsepower Garage Mountain Motor Pro Stock. I'm so out of sync here today, guys. I'm so out of sync because, we didn't have Reinhart, right? Normally, I talk to Reinhart about the other winners. Ricky Smith, Joe Castello, Jeff Atkinson, Cody Phillips, Anthony Bertazzi winning Super Comp. That's crazy. Keith Mayers wins Super Gas. He might have won Super Street and Super Gas in the same car in the same year this year. Keith Mayers might have done it. I think he won Super Street earlier this year, but I'll have to double back. Sandy Wilkins, the Sand Flea, in his big return in Top Sportsman. The Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge winners, Brittany, Austin, Greg Anderson won his first. Brittany won her first. That's shocking. And Matt Smith. Plus Spider-Man McBride, Larry McBride winning Top Fuel Motorcycle. That was amazing. And Johnny Placino in Johnson's Horsepower Garage Mountain Motor Pro Stock. Now I feel like I can really get out of here because I gave all the results, baby. Oh, my goodness. So during the Ignition show last night, it's when I got the hint of the Roger Richards deal. And I see his face. I see the last 2 times I saw him in my mind. And I'm feeling regret that I didn't drop everything that I did in that moment. And, now give him a hug and tell him that I loved him and that he's a great guy and that there needs to be more people like Roger. But I didn't do that. But the good news is I had told him that stuff many times before. It's just I missed my last opportunity. Think about that with your situation, certainly with your family and your friends. And in that moment, I was dealing with something, and I don't even remember what it was. But in that moment, it was more important. But right now, I can't even remember it. And that should tell you like how the brain works, the way we feel about, and it's a good thing, about work and responsibility and doing a good job and maintaining our, professionalism. The work thing in the moment was a high priority. The personal thing was a low priority. And, that's the way it is. But right now I've got this like feeling of personal regret. While Roger and I had made peace, he knew I thought he was awesome. And I miss the guy already. I know, he would come up in the chat section and say, "Good afternoon, gents." And I'm not going to see that anymore. And that's tough. To his family, to Bobby Bennett's got to be devastated. Let's all pull together. Let's be kind to each other, guys. It's a tough time right now, many ways. See you in Norwalk. WFO.